Come on, in all leaders, you're going to fail. Step back, assess what happened, and learn from it.
You said it worked 40 years ago because it's what humans want.
I'm thinking, do you realize how much damage this person can do?
We got to figure out how we can get that to upper management. We got to figure out how we can do something. That's a good point. Let's use it. Let's go this way with it. Let's take it to this next level. I'll follow up on it. I'll get back to you and see what they say.
What the f are you thinking? Hey there, I'm Jeff Cordes, and welcome to the C.R.A.P Leadership Podcast. My philosophy is about C.R.A.P, caring, respect, appreciation, and praise.
And this is Randy Walensky. Been a speaker, trainer, sales professional, and coach for over 10 years, using all of Jeff's C.R.A.P. And we want to bring these principles to you in your organization. Let's jump in.
Welcome back to another episode of Leading with C.R.A.P. Randy here. We got Jeff over here. Jeff's here. And today we're talking about a very important topic. It's the stupid things that managers do, totally preventable things that make people leave, that they lose good people over just doing and acting and things that are stupid and preventable.
It's like managers or supervisors don't think. And I always said, I've talked about this before. I mean, I started back in the days when a lot of places were union. Started as a union steward and a committee man. The most invaluable skill I got was I could always think like an employee.
Mm.
If I was going to do something, how did these people? How would people take it? If somebody's doing it to me, how would I feel? And a lot of managers do not do that. And as a result, they say and do stupid stuff. I mean, it's like, think before you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And think to the day when you were, I'll say, an employee, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, a lot of managers, like we talked about before, Jim, it's not like they wake up in the morning and go, how can I make my people miserable today? How can I ruin somebody's day? That's not what managers do. It's usually one of two things. It's either one, they were put in this position and they just don't have the right temperament to be a leader, really. But even more so, because even people that maybe start off without the right temperament or the right knowledge, they don't have the right training.
It's a skills gap.
Yeah.
Huge skills gap. Yeah. I mean, what I see, and when I work with my clients on leadership training, I do my C.R.A.P leadership system, is I will work with my clients, and I'll train a whole group of supervisors and managers. But then what happens is, as they bring new folks on board, they will call me and say, hey, can you do an intense session or several hours with this person to talk to them about C.R.A.P leadership, because they realize that a lot of their people, they might have the right stuff, but you got to train them up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll work with those leaders, take them through a lot of the things that I do, and train them up so that within a couple of weeks of them, getting into their leadership assignment, they're ready, or they at least know the basics enough so that they don't do stupid stuff. I mean, so they're not dangerous. How's that?
Dangerous and losing good people. Well, that's actually what started the conversation where we said we've got to do a podcast on this, is because you were telling me a story about someone that you know and just the ridiculous response that he got. You take us through it however you want, whatever you think is going to be.
Yeah, and we're not talking back from when I started in HR. We're talking about 2 weeks ago. A guy I know, and I'm kind of vague on this because I don't want to blow his cover. He said to me, and this is a guy on a landscaping crew. And what he said to me, he was immensely frustrated. And he said to me, you know what? He says, we had to go through and clear out a row of buckthorn for a client. Those of you who don't know about buckthorn, buckthorn's kind of like kudzu. Okay, if you're from the
That
south,
didn't help. That didn't. Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah, if you're or you don't know kudzu.
no, I
Anyway,
don't. I don't.
what
But they
it
both
is
sound
is
like they
is
suck. That's what it sounds
yeah, no, it's an invasive. It's an invasive, uh, generally an invasive species designed to prevent erosion of soil. Anyway, we've got this explosion of buckthorn up in Wisconsin and the Midwest. Anyway, and this guy, he's on this landscaping crew, and they're out there like half mile worth of buckthorn along the highway, and they were contracted to do this by the municipality. And what and these guys on the landscaping crew are out there using chainsaws, not cutting it down, but trimming it off. That was what they're told to do. And they're cutting this stuff down and pulling it back, and somebody behind them is grabbing the stuff. You're talking about dangerous as hell. You're running a chainsaw. Uh, it's an accident.
and a baton handoff is something
Right.
like
It's an accident waiting to happen. And it's inefficient as hell. And after a couple of days of this, Gino said to, the head of the department, he says, look, he says, we could buy us, I don't know what the term is, but a device that you can attach to a skid loader and just cut all this stuff down.
that.
And the department had said, well, we can't make it too easy for you guys. It's a Homer Simpson moment.
Nope.
Dope. Yeah, I mean, or it's a WTF moment, depending on your
Right.
thought process. Well, either this leader shouldn't be in a leadership role, or he just said some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's
as a result, what happened was this guy had been doing this stuff for the whole week. Friday, he called in sick. He said, "I've had enough." And then as the discussion went on more and more, we talked, and he said, "Well, he says I'm going to be to the point where I'm set enough, and at the end of summer, I'm giving my notice."
mm,
You know, um, people aren't stupid. People don't want to be abused. Leaders got to stop making stupid mistakes like this.
yeah. It's funny because the comment is almost comically bad. Like if you
It is
were
a Homer Simpson moment.
yeah, if you were just kidding almost and somebody said that, that could be a funny thing. Like I could get away with that on a crew and be like, "Wow, we wouldn't want to make it too easy for you." And then we would laugh and say, "You know what? That's a good point, actually. It doesn't make sense for us to be doing dangerous work like that when there's a tool here, make you guys 100% more efficient, allow you to get to other jobs and make it that's a that
Well,
would be
and
how
the
you would do that."
cost was minimal.
Yeah.
Cost was minimal. It would have prevented potential safety problems, and they could have gotten the job done in 25% of the time.
And they could be going on to make other money, to be improving other
Exactly.
things. So just to blow people off like that, and obviously it wasn't said as a joking way. He took it
He
in a
was
very
serious.
serious way, and it caused where he no longer wants to work for this organization. Managers do things like that. It's also unnecessary, right? He could have been a bad manager and also just been like, "Yeah, okay, we'll definitely think about that for the
It's
future."
one thing to be stupid. It's another thing to not care and respect your people.
Yeah, the disrespect was the problem. I mean, people don't like if they say something to a manager and it's in one ear and out the other. They're like, "Why should I even contribute?" You will
Right?
lose engagement doing that. But this is even worse because you're provoking somebody by saying something rude about it after they've been
Right.
working really hard and
It's
they
just
took
kind
it
of obnoxious.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a little mini note in there. It's like being obnoxious is really bad, but also if somebody gives you a good idea, you can't let it go in one ear and out the other without some action, even if you can't make it
Right?
happen. Because I've had people where they come to you and complain, and the problem is so big, it's like, I hear you, I get it, but we got to figure out how we can get that to upper management. We got to figure out how we can do something. That's a good point. Let's use it. Let's go this way with it. Let's take it to this next level. I'll follow up on it. I'll get back to you and see what they say. And even if the answer from up above is no, we're not going to do that, and here's why. If I come back and say, I brought your great idea to them, here's what they said, here's what we're looking at, here was the response, they at least feel the respect that they were heard. Minimum,
Exactly.
minimum,
Yeah.
right? But managers, again, do things that are stupid. This guy actually provoked this person. And why does that happen? Because this person may have been promoted just because they technically were good at cutting down buckthorn, because they showed up on time,
They
because
worked hard.
this
Yeah.
senior person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the technical skill does not equal leadership skill.
Well, and that's one of the things that, like I said, that's why when I work with clients, I mean, um, and if they ask me, I will tell them, um, look at how well this person you're promoting can influence other people, because the ability to be able to influence people is a major trait that people need in their leaders. I mean, and another example that I'll give you is when I mean, from when I started as union steward and committee man in the union. And as a result, that's what got me my first job,
Hmm.
because it was a unionized plant. And they said, well, if this guy's in a leadership role in the union, he can influence other people. He has that skill to be able to influence. And so, I mean, when I was, when I was an HR leader and we needed to find supervisors, particularly because that was our progression through the organization, supervisors and managers, we used to always poach out of the union ranks. We'd hire the union president. We'd hire the chief steward. We'd hire the vice president, because they were in roles where they had to influence people.
Hmm.
And so they may not have been the most technically sound,
Mm.
but they held that leadership skill of being able to influence. And they also knew they also knew the technical aspects, but maybe not as good as the technical person. So
Hmm.
those were the people we would poach. And I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, turned out to be great supervisors and ultimately managers, sometimes up to director level.
Hmm. Well, and it's great if you have a technically savvy and a really good person on that. And then you can combine that with they have these other traits that will make them good with people. But you have to put them through some sort of training. You have
Yeah,
to,
you got to ramp them up.
and no matter what, like if you've never led people before, you are not ready for the things that are going to be thrown at you and
Right.
skills that you need. And a lot of it is trial and error and failure and slamming your head against the wall, and then you'll figure it out. But not all people have that stick to
Well,
it.
sometimes they figure it out.
Yeah, you right. If they stay as leaders.
Right. I mean, sometimes they figure it out. I mean, because one of the things that I do, again, when I work with new leaders, I will tell them, if you do something and it doesn't work, pick up the phone and call me, drop me an email,
Hmm.
and we debrief. Because every time you do something that doesn't work, it's an opportunity to learn.
Hmm.
And you need to capitalize on those opportunities.
Yeah, but if they didn't have you there coaching them,
Right.
that lesson may go unlearned, and then they're repeating it over and over again, not realizing what is causing it. So that is where either a leader has to lead their other leaders and train them and do one-on-ones and do coaching sessions with them, or you have to have regular refreshers, regular management type meetings, because there's a lot of complicated skills in leading people. You don't come born with it. Nobody does. Some people have better temperaments for it, but there's still new skills that need to be learned and need to be sharpened. Even if you're decent at managing conflict, you could be
Right.
better, right?
You can
Everybody could.
always get better. I mean, when my kids were in sports, and even now with my grandkids, uh, especially like really young kids,
Mhm.
they hate to lose
Mhm.
big time. They just hate to lose. And so what I learned early on is what you do is you tell them every time you lose, you learn.
Yep.
Because we weren't, and don't get me wrong, I love to win, but I learn more from when I lose, as long as I take it to heart. And that's one of the things I try to instill in new leaders. I want in all leaders. You're going to fail. Step back, assess what happened, and learn from it.
No, it's so good. When we win and when things are going well, we party. And when things
Well, when you win, you win. But also, when you lose, you win.
you win a lesson, right?
Yeah,
You can win and become better, 100%. Well, and then
exactly.
and switching gears a little bit with this, because it also reminds me, because I think I kind of understand the ages of these people. I don't know the age of the manager you're talking about, but potentially here we might have a generational gap. And you and I
Yeah,
have had a lot of training with organizations, the
right.
communication styles, the expectations of different generations. If you know the person's age, great, we can add that to the conversation. My assumption, though, is this is an older, old school.
55-ish.
Okay, there you go.
So,
That's
but you
exactly.
got to realize somebody's 55, unless the organization deals with that individual, they're going to do harm for another 10 years.
Mhm. Yeah, and then so that's also a person who's on the edge of like the Gen X boomer type thing, but more
Right,
old school, depending how they were raised. And so they probably just don't know any better. But also, that was standard operating procedure for that generation. Shut up and get the job done. Don't make any waves. Don't complain, right? That's a different generation.
right.
And you have a younger.
Although I will tell you, I run into a lot of, I do a lot of work in construction, and I run into a lot of foremen,
Mhm.
and they're 42, 43, 44, 45. And I'm talking with a young HR leader in a construction company, and they say, well, he's old school. I said, well, how old is he? And they say, oh, 43. And I'm thinking, do you realize how much damage this person can do? Because they're going to be around for at least another 17 years.
Right.
And but again, how they were how they were taught, and then they go into the job, and eventually, hopefully, some of these leaders will get to the point where they realize what worked in the past and doesn't work now.
Yeah, and you and I have brought this up a whole bunch of times because we're in the room with people that probably are doubting or are questioning whether what we're saying
Right?
is really going to
All the
work.
time.
But the good thing about it is how you treat the younger generation
Yep.
is a great way to treat the older generation and to
Right.
modify the way you do things. It's not doing things with kid gloves, but doing things that are logical, right? Oh, I want this person to change, or I want this person to keep contributing ideas. Should I blow them off with this dismissive comment? That was stupid for all generations. It just isn't going to fly at all with
At
younger
all.
generations. But what this
Right. And that's the respect aspect of our crap, right? Caring, respect, appreciation, and praise.
you have to respect people. So giving people disrespect that happen to be boomers is they're just going to tolerate it more than younger generations. It isn't going to make them work harder. It isn't going to make them more effective, right? So you can use the
Right.
things that we are teaching with what people should be doing for younger generations for all the generations, and it will
Right.
work and it'll be a better environment for everyone.
Well, and what I'm seeing is that more and more, but there aren't too many, there aren't a lot of boomers left. And I'm a boomer, and I joke about the fact that we're either dead or retired. And but even the Xers, as they're getting up there, they won't put up with this bullshit. They just won't.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, forget it. I'll start my own business.
Yeah.
I'll go to work at the grocery store where nobody bothers me, and I'll bag groceries or whatever. I mean, yeah, I mean, crap worked 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I learned my crap. But now it is essential with the workforce we have today. Because
Absolutely.
if you don't lead with crap, caring, respect, appreciation, and praise, you are not going to get the productivity. You're not going to get the quality. Uh, you're not going to get the loyalty.
You're not going to keep your people.
Yeah. I mean, all those things. They're not going to be engaged.
Hmm.
They'll be just showing up, putting in their time. And we can't afford to do that anymore.
Hmm.
World's too competitive.
And ultimately, what people want is the younger generation, especially, they want to be somewhere where they know the people care about them, where they're doing
Yep.
meaningful work, where their ideas matter, right? And all the things with crap tell people that they matter. It tells their idea matters. It tells them that their work matters. That is what younger generations, but as you said, it worked 40 years ago because it's what humans want. It's that a lot of the older generations were a little more rough and tumble, a little more callous, a little more things that if they got cussed out by their boss, blow it off, go to the bar, have
Right.
one extra beer, show up to work tomorrow. You do that with a younger generation, millennials and below, they
I'll
probably
tell
won't
you to
show
piss
up.
off.
Yeah, they're not going to show up after lunch. And
Yeah.
you and I did that in a room. We were doing a training that we'll say there were like 40 foremen out there.
I remember that one. Yeah.
How many people have had seen someone get harsh criticism and they never showed up again? And more than half of the room of
Yeah.
supervisors raised their hand.
Well, it was a group of construction foremen, remember? Yeah. I mean, and for them, that started to become a rude awakening because of the way they were trained by the folks that they work for. Well, those days are dead, man. I mean, and I'll say it, even in construction, um, hardcore industries, I mean, you just, yeah,
Yeah.
people won't tolerate it anymore.
We'll do one more story, and I'll make it an abridged story. But I remember when you and I were training, we were first doing training foremen for a roofing company, and we were
Oh,
training
yeah.
also the separate people. And when we just had the foremen in there, we wanted them to be real honest. We wanted it to be back and forth. We wanted to talk to them about how to do things differently, and we got a ton of pushback. I mean, constructive. Haha, but constructive back and forth, but kind of like a battle. And I remember you had to get really tough with them. Be like, guys, if you aren't willing to change, if you aren't willing to do things differently, you're not going to have a workforce. Like, that's as simple
Right.
as it is. You cannot keep doing what you're. The reason we're here is there's a problem, basically, right? You are bleeding people. And it was some more than others, but a lot of the battling we got was kind of like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to change or not? Because if you can't get the job done because you don't have enough people because you're driving everybody off,
Right.
and some of their funniest, I'll give you one of their funniest comments was, let's just put in the rule handbook, you're going to get called a dumbass your first week on the job. It's like, that's construction, baby. That's roofing, baby. Like, so funny.
Yeah. Well, and I remember what really broke the ice, and I'm going to use some profanity here.
All
Okay.
right.
What really broke the ice, they said, somebody made some really stupid comment. And I said, what the fuck are you thinking?
And they loved it.
And you know what? It was like that woke him up. I mean, and normally I don't swear in general in front of an audience, but it's like the F bomb just came out.
The
And
last
it,
part of this story that makes it especially funny for me, and then we'll wrap it up here shortly. But um, we were having a conversation with the HR leader, and the HR leader was swearing, and I'm like, Jeff, when we do our presentation, I think we've got to have some colorful language in there. I think we've got to be very
right.
expressive because that's what they're going to want. He goes, oh no, we got to keep it professional. And about 15 minutes in, he's dropping F bombs on him. So
I think we counted. I think I dropped like 6 or 7 F bombs during the pre.
which we don't do when we're teaching banking,
Right.
but they were using it. So when I said it was being combative, they were swearing to us, not at us. These
Yeah.
mother
Yeah.
effers, and it's like, whoa, and that's just how the conversation went. But you have to meet people where they're at, and so that's
And when it broke the ice, and all of a sudden, uh, these supervisors got it, man. I mean, it's like,
by the end of
oh,
it, they were
yeah.
very reflective. They stopped battling and they went, Shh, he's right. Like, yeah. That's true. And then
I
even some
see
other,
it. Yeah, they said I see it.
yeah, a couple people came up to me. I don't know if I ever told you this after that particular engagement. They're like, this is what I do, and I'm right there with you guys. He's like, but a lot of these other people, this is like crazy for them. They would never do that. But this is how I treat my people. I do this like what you said. I do that,
Right,
and my crew is solid. So like he was even saying like, quote, I'm not the problem of all these supervisors because I don't do what they do. I do what you guys are talking about.
right.
And it works really well. So it was nice to also hear that affirmation. Plus, he's like, I'm right
Yeah.
there with you. I get it.
And it was fun. Again, like I said, normally, yeah, again, you don't swear. We watch what we do,
Oh,
but man, like I said, I dropped about 6 or 7 F-bombs.
you had to connect with the people. You had to connect.
Any HR leader was perfectly fine with
Oh,
it.
she actually preferred it, she said. So to bring this all in and wrap it up with a bow, managers do stupid things. Usually, or 90% of it is due to a lack of training. They're
Yes,
thrown to the wolves, they're thrown against the wall to see if they're going to stick, and they're only put in that
right,
position because they're technically good. Well, even if they're technically good, they need to be leadership good. They need to go through some sort of training.
right.
Even your seasoned leaders,
Yeah, train them up
they need it. So that's kind of the biggest thing. If you are struggling in your organizations with leaders doing stupid things that are making you bleed people, like if you're an HR manager and you can't fill roles fast enough as your stupid managers keep driving people away, give Jeff and I a call. Either Jeff at jeffcordis.com, Randy at randywilinski.com, or reach out to us on LinkedIn, whichever you prefer. We will help you train your leaders. Anything else you want to add, Jeff?
hey, talk to us. Even if you're really good, we'll take you to the next level
I like it. Because one of the most important things is that your leaders give your people crap. Why?
because crap works.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, we really appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Bye
Take
bye.
care, all. Bye.